On this Valentine's Day, we just witnessed a partnership that appears to be working. Just before the mayor and Sacramento City Council members gathered for tonight's City Council meeting, I was at City Hall as the mayor learned the county will be helping the city bring back housing to Miller Park for the homeless. And we first brought you this story onto the point just last night. 80 tents were set up for the homeless at a site called Safeground around this time last year. And it's really meant to serve as transitional housing as people work to get into more permanent housing. But those tents were removed during January's storm, and this lot, it's been empty ever since. So now tonight, the mayor is crediting the city and the county's new partnership in getting trailers, not tents, trailers moved in. So we just heard some major updates about Safeground at Miller Park. What can you tell us that just came down the pipeline?
The city just came to an agreement with the County of Sacramento to take one of the first steps in implementing our partnership agreement from late 2022. We're going to reopen Miller Park temporarily, and only temporarily, and use some of the trailers that we have in storage that we used during COVID.
So these would be 15 mobile homes, essentially trailers that we've had sitting in storage largely since the pandemic. These were equipment that we largely bought to shelter people with COVID.
This Miller Park breakthrough will allow us to bring 40 to 50 people from the streets into the trailers at a site that we own and can control. We need more beds. And while I know I don't, it's not my first choice to put tents out in any one of our locations, the fact that we have these trailers that are sitting in storage makes Miller Park a perfect match temporarily, because once we are able to open one of these larger sites that we are working on, then we won't use Miller Park for the long term. But for now, it gives us a chance to get a head start on this partnership agreement and to really start cleaning up the WX corridor in a humane way. We are working on some longer term solutions. I'd certainly would like to see Cal Expo be used and opened as at least a temporary place for us to be able to put tiny homes, pallet homes, trailers, and to have more people be able to get off the streets and to go there. We are looking at a couple of other real significant options, good options in the south area, but they're not ready yet.
And do we know when the trailers are coming or when we can expect to see Safeground back up and running?
I asked that question about half an hour ago. And so I know that our city management is talking to our Department of Public Works. I think it's just a matter of the logistics of transporting the trailers out to Miller Park and getting them set up. So I hope it'll be very soon.
There won't be tents, these will be trailers?
Yeah, this will be as an upgrade from the tents in a way that there will be slight kind of walls around them versus the tents we had. One of the challenges with Miller Park was always its proximity to the river. As much as I loved that for, you know, the peace and the quiet and the scenery, when there was a storm or a wind event, that area tended to get hit pretty hard because there wasn't anything kind of buffering them from the wind and activity. So trailers are a much more stable option.
And what do we know about the people who were living there? I mean, is this a successful site?
It was really successful. So the typical positive exit rate for folks who are chronically unhoused, folks who've been on the street for a while, is in like the low 20s. We were getting to 40% at this site. For whatever reason, for the folks who this site worked for, it was, I think, a natural on-ramp, an easier on-ramp than going straight indoors when folks had been outside for a while. We had several people move straight into permanent housing. I mean, we've had just dozens and dozens of people go into services, call family, start getting case management.
Are you happy with the decision?
I'm incredibly happy. I think that in the end, we need every tool we can get at our disposal right now. When you're dealing with the level of crisis we're dealing with and the amount of human suffering, every tool in our disposal needs to be utilized. So to use a site that's worked well, to work with a provider that's working well, with a model that seems to be working well.
What do you hope to see happen with Safeground?
You know, I hope we continue to evolve the model. You know, there are so many people on our streets that are in bad situations that are not only impacting the businesses and residents that they're around, but they themselves are lacking just the basic necessities of sleep and sanitation and food and safety. So I hope people don't just throw out the model because they might not like where it is or how it looks, but really take the lessons we've learned and apply it for the success of people who come next.
And how do you feel the partnership is going so far?
Well, this is a good start. I think it's going well. I really do. I'm very appreciative of the county. I really want to reiterate that because I don't know that these kinds of agreements or conversations, frankly, would have happened a year or two ago. But it's, the conversations that we've had, some of the, challenging times we have had together, the partnership agreement itself.
All right, you already know I'll be keeping my eye on this. The mayor adds that the county is going to provide the services for this site, and he thinks this is the beginning of a very important partnership for the city, county, and the entire region.